Welcome back to another video. So, having breakfast, as you can see, smoked salmon, some toast, some fruit and some spinach, and a bit of a different one today. I think I say that every video, but going to be taking you throughout the day as usual, but along the day, because as you all know, if you watch my channel, I'm in an improvement phase, I'm bulking. I'm going to be taking you through my top tips to really maximize a bulking phase and really maximize muscle gain as well. So I did a similar video about a year ago, 7 top tips on how to get shredded. So we're going to be doing the reverse of that now. I'm running through that. So going to eat this. We're actually training today as well. Got a push session, so there'll be a bit of that in this video as well. And then just a general day in the life. All right, meal 1, part 2 is going in. This is not a full day of eating, by the way, just before you think it is. Last full day of eating was the last video. But yeah, tip number 1 is going to be position your foods around your training windows. So, and I've said this in a previous video, I like to have around 160 grams of carbs in the system before training. It's enough for me to feel full and feel obviously ready to train and be fueled enough for my session, but it's not too much to the point where I'm feeling sluggish. I've got too much food sitting in my stomach, I'm having to digest a bunch of food. And I'm feeling lethargic. So yes, positioning foods around your training windows pre and post workout, but ensuring you leave around 45 minutes to an hour to let that food digest before you train. And then likewise, post workout, don't be slamming a bunch of cereal right the second you've got out of the gym. Make sure your resting heart rate's down to a normal level, and then you can eat to ensure that digestion is good. Foods around training windows, big tip. Pre-workout monster is in, and I'm just gonna throw another tip out. So tip number 2 is gonna be caffeine. Now, on the last video, when I was speaking about how to get shredded, I was speaking about utilizing caffeine as an appetite suppressant and curbing your appetite and hunger levels. Now, in an off season, the only caffeine I'm gonna have is gonna be pre-workout. I'm gonna have either a Monster or a black coffee just before training to give me a boost, give me some energy, and that's going to be that. Why? Because as I said in the other video, it's an appetite suppressant. The last thing I want is to constantly be curbing my appetite when I need to be getting a lot of food in. So that's going to be tip number 2. Be wise with caffeine, use it again for performance, but understand when to cut it out because it's not going to help you get hungry basically. Okay, finished up on lateral raises there. A complete staple. Today is actually my shoulder dominant push day, so we're gonna have a few more shoulder movements in here, such as plate loaded presses, but we've still got some chest movements as well, so I'll take you through a little bit of this today. All right, little update on where I'm at the moment. So currently weighing in at 92 kilos in the morning fasted. Which is the heaviest I've been actually, fun fact. So yeah, feeling quite heavy at the minute. I'm going to go into how I'm feeling in that sense and the effects of it. But no, things are in a good spot, some good scale weight increments every week at the minute. And one of the most important parts is that condition is staying fairly solid. So I'm staying fairly lean, which is good. It means that essentially the weight that I'm adding is productive weight. It's not a bunch of body fat, it's muscle essentially. So we're in a good spot in that sense. Calories at the moment when it comes to food are high, so I did do a full day of eating. That was my previous video. If you haven't checked it out, then you can give that a watch. Since then, my food has actually gone up, so I'm currently eating 700 grams of carbs and we're sitting around 4,200 calories now on a training day. But as you can tell, it's definitely paying dividends here. You can see me lifting a very good amount of weight that I've never touched on this machine before. So no, I think it's all, there is a trade-off, of course. There will be some bulking struggles, which I'll mention in a second. But I think, as I said, for the trade-off, it's it's worth it. I'm the strongest I've ever been, the heaviest I've been, and I'm very, very happy indeed with the look that I've got at the moment.
It's the problem with training solo. No spot. Oh well, take that.
Now, in saying that, there is definitely a trade-off. Bulking struggles. So there's a few areas to this, a few sort of angles that you can look at it from. I've been very used to being lean, athletic, for the majority of my life, and whilst I've built muscle, I've always stayed fairly lean. Now, as I said, I'm staying fairly lean at the minute, which is good, but I am a lot bigger than usual. That there is a certain level of fitness that I've dropped. So obviously keeping cardio in, making sure cardiovascular health is looked after is a main priority of mine. But I am noticing myself getting out of breath a bit quicker, the usual, but that's always going to happen when you're pushing weight. So it's important to kind of push through these thoughts and doubts that you have if you are serious about, really growing. Now, it is also worth mentioning that my approach to this is very different. The level that I'm going to be competing at on stage is very high. So you don't necessarily need to push yourself to the level that I am at the moment if you aren't really looking to do the same thing. If you're looking to add some muscle and grow, as much as a 200 calorie surplus will see you grow. So always keep that in mind.
So this is actually meant to be D-handle cable press, but because the closed cable stack's taken outside, we're on the wider cable stack. So we've got a bit more of a fly variation. It's almost like a pec deck, to be honest. Not what I want, but it's going to do the job. So we'll give this a go.
Just following on from the point that I was making, as I said, my goals are very big, and so I'm operating at a very high calorie surplus at the moment. If your goal is simply to gain some muscle off the back of a body recomp, then start to put your calories up bit by bit. As I said, a 200 calorie surplus will suffice for you to see improvements, for you to start to get bigger and add muscle. If you then look to potentially take goals a bit further, like I am, then of course there is a certain element of pushing you're going to have to do to the point where you get slightly uncomfortable. Now, after all those sort of negatives, there are a lot of positives to draw from it. The progression in the gym has been incredible. I mean, I'm lifting weights that I never thought I would be lifting. You saw on the incline press earlier on, I had 3 plates, 3 20s and a 10 each side, when I was probably used to lifting around 2 plates a side on that. Now, as someone who is competitive, as someone who likes progression, lifting the same thing week in, week out was starting to get very, very boring. So that's a huge positive that I've seen is pretty much every week, not on every exercise, but on the majority of exercises that I'm doing, I'm seeing improvements. So that's a big win for me. And of course, overall strength is at an all-time high. So with an all-time high scale weight has come an all-time high strength level, which is incredible. Other examples on my push day in specific, we're looking at the flat plate loaded press, where I was lifting around 2.5 plates a side, now lifting 5 plates a side, and it's looking like I'm going to be lifting even more on my next session. So, we're talking around 90 kilos to 200 kilos that I'm lifting on certain exercises. So it's feeling great. And these are all of the things that you need to remind yourself of when things get hard. Of course, if you are in the same boat as I am at the minute, when things get hard with the bulk and you start to get down, self-confidence gets down a little bit, which I'm not quite at yet, but I will get at when I start to add a lot of body fat. It's always worth remembering the long-term vision and understanding why you're doing this. And then, of course, drawing as many positives and benefits from the process that you can. And I find that is always going to help to keep motivation high. So that concludes this workout. Of course, a shoulder dominant day, an area that I'm really looking to bring up for the men's physique division. So I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a go if you would like. I'll probably be breaking down a full session in a separate video at some point. But yeah, things are in a great place and I'm really looking forward to the coming weeks.
Alright, great session wrapped up. Got home, showered, had my meal too. And because it's a Friday, so usually throughout the week I have the majority of my client check-ins Monday to Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday I use for other bits of work, so stuff that I can do out of my office basically, or out of the house. So we're here at Seoul, and this is going to bring me to my next tip. As you can see here, I've got food ready. One of my top tips is going to be make sure you have a meal plan when you're bulking, okay? it's something that I found out very quickly. You're going to start to realize that when you've got a lot of food to get in, you're probably best off not leaving it to chance and just kind of making it up as you go along. I did that because I've been so used to dieting for so long. But yeah, having food ready and bringing it with you, because I could have easily said, right, I'm going to be working here instead. I'll just get something from the menu. I know the menu already. It's not that great, and I can't really calculate how much is in it. So I may as well bring my food with me. I'm going to have a coffee here and just make sure that I've not missed that meal, because old me would have just been like, yeah, it's fine. I'll go there and I'll just eat whatever. And then I would have definitely been under on my calories. So top tip, make sure you have a meal plan in place. So fast forward to, we've just done a food shop. So got the weekly shop done, and I thought I'd show it on the video here. So here we've got a food shop, not all of it, there's some of it over in the bags there, but I thought I'd get the basics or the main things and kind of run through and kind of speak about what it's costing me to on a weekly basis to eat. So what have we got first? I'm going to start with the carb sources. I've kind of laid it out. So we've got post-workout cereal. We've got my grains that I have in the morning. We've got basmati rice, pasta. These are, as I said, so pretty much the main sources that I'm eating. There are more, which I'll probably name a few of. We've got bagels, a lot of them. Bread for my breakfast. Light cream cheese that goes on that. Now into the protein. So we've got salmon that goes with that, one of my favorite meals. One of my other favorite meals in the morning, as you've seen, will be eggs with egg whites, and then of course bread and cream cheese. Back to the proteins, we've got chicken mince, which I'm actually going to make burgers from tonight, and I make quite often. I have like burgers with bagels, which is pretty sick. Chicken breast, basic, and then fats. We've got peanut butter, dark chocolate, 72%. We've got some pods for the machine, and of course the almighty monsters, which I only have on a training day, half of the can. I share it with my girlfriend. And then of course the micros, very important, kiwi, which I have in the morning, and then my veg of choice is red pepper, courgette, and then spinach, which I also have in the morning as well. Look at the size of that red pepper. Veg in Spain is unmatched. So yeah, this is as I said, there's a lot more that I eat, but this is kind of a bit of a rough breakdown of the main food sources that I'm having at the moment to help me reach my 4,000 and something calories. So, which is a lot of food, 700 grams of carbs I'm eating at the moment, which is a lot. And I'm struggling, but guess what? I've not missed a beat yet. I've not missed a calorie, I've not missed a gram of carbs. And that's something that's quite new to me, actually really committing to a bulking phase, which I'm doing, which leads me to another tip actually, is when you are looking to add muscle, commit to a bulk, commit to a gaining phase. You don't know what you're capable of until you've been attempting to grow and eat a good amount of food, substantial amount of food for months on end, okay? So why is that? If you do what I did for a good few years, which was maintain and constantly be in a dieting phase, you're gonna mess with your hormones, number one, because your body's in a constant fight or flight state, okay? You're gonna be putting a lot of stress on the body itself as well by not giving it enough food and constantly dieting. So of course there are a whole host of benefits that you will get from actually adhering to an improvement phase and eating in a calorie surplus that don't just involve adding muscle mass. Okay, so obviously I didn't show everything there, but for anyone who's interested on what the cost of living is here in Marbella, Spain, it's pretty good. So that all amounted to around 110 euros, okay, which would be less than pounds.
As I said, there's a bunch more protein that I've not shown. I just diluted it so that it fit on the table and there wasn't a mountain of food. So this will last me a week and a bit. Usually I've still got enough to take me past a week, and it's around 110 euros. Bearing in mind, there's 2 of us, so that's not just for me, that's for my partner as well. And that's all her food, all of her protein as well. So not bad at all, not bad. Okay, so that is cardio wrapped up, 30 minutes, average heart rate around 135 beats per minute. As I said in my previous video, 2 lots a week of 30 minutes at the moment in the off season, which brings me to my next point. It's so important to have some sort of cardiovascular work, some expenditure, even in an off season. And I made this exact point in the previous video, and I'm going to make it again. Why is it important? Okay, you'd think, right, I'm trying to get bigger, I'm trying to add scale weight, so most people would assume I'm going to eat more and move less. In part that is true, so not doing an hour of cardio every day, of course we're looking to build muscle, add size. But what happens when you build muscle and add size? You get heavier. What happens when you get heavier? Your fitness levels drop. Cardiovascular health needs to be looked at, sometimes more than ever. Okay, having some form of higher intensity output along with daily steps is going to allow us to keep those fitness levels in check. Why is this important? Number one, you want to be looking after your heart. You want to be making sure that your cardiovascular heart health is in check. Number two, fitness levels. Okay, when we're building muscle, what's important? Your actual performance in the gym as well. So if you're gassing out at the end of every set, what is that going to mean? You're not going to be lifting much, are you? So want to make sure you've got enough cardio going in to make sure that your actual performance is improved as well. And my final point, it's going to actually help with your appetite as well. It's going to build a bit of an appetite. Right now, before I jumped on here, I did not want to eat the rest of my food for the day, but I know that doing this is going to improve my appetite. It's going to make me burn more calories and make me hungrier as well. And it's actually going to make me sensitized to food a little bit more as well. So don't neglect your output. So still got about 2,000 steps to get, so I'm going to get those before the day finishes, and then I'm going to finish the rest of my food for the day. That's going to call it a day.